Welcome, everyone, to the Daily Motor Podcast, episode 22. It's like the Taylor Swift song.
I don't know about you,
but I'm feeling like episode 22. I'm sure she was referring to the Daily Motor Podcast.
She was. Song. She was seeing into the future.
She's smart like that, you know? Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Also, I just realized no one can see us right now. Good job, Charlie. Let's turn that on.
Do we restart?
No, they can deal with it. Also, that lens looks really dirty, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's all like here.
This is how prepared we are here at DMHQ. You can just take it off. It's you guys like that? The view of Chris's sleeve. Give me a little that way. A bit more. Yep. Great. Looks excellent. Still have our 2006 Ford Fusion.
Oh, that looks way better. Everyone's tuned off. Everyone's tuned off by now, anyways.
That's how YouTube videos work. Watch the first 5 seconds, hit dislike or like, and then leave. Anyway, episode 22. We've been talking so far today about the Polaris Slingshot. I'm gonna bring it up here.
I don't have high hopes, but I'm not gonna judge it until I've driven it. It doesn't have enough wheels. Is my thing.
Well, yeah, that's the biggest problem with the Slingshot. Is it only has two in the front, one in the rear, and when you want to put power down, that's not very good.
It's an Ecotec engine, right?
I believe so.
Is it the same engine that's in my Cobalt? Is it like a turbo? Is it turbocharged?
I don't believe so.
Oh,
so
wow.
Let's just bring up the old Wikipedia here. Three-wheeled motorcycle. First edition was released in 2014 as a 2015 model. Tilt-adjustable steering wheel, side-by-side bucket seats, does not lean, no roof, doors, you have to climb into it, or side windows. But the whole interior is waterproof.
That
so
green one
down.
is gopping.
Yeah, that's BMW X3 competition.
Same sort of driver also in this.
Yep. All right. So the rear only has a 255 tire. So it's not
That's
huge.
Not very wide.
It's not super small. It's still wider than the Mach E tires, but but look at this. The SLR and R models get a 305 in the rear. That's good. Hopefully we're getting one of those.
SLR and R.
Yeah.
SLR like the Mercedes SLR.
SLR. I love that car so much.
I love that
it's
car
probably
too.
one of my favorite looking cars.
Yeah.
Optional 5-speed automatic became available in 2020 with the release of Gen 2 models. Small windshields an optional extra on the base model and fitted as standard on the SL. Fiberglass wind and sun cover. We do have to wear helmets. Yep. They ask us to. Now, if you want to drive like a douchebag, you don't wear a helmet. And the gentleman that I saw driving one last week did not wear a helmet.
So I'm going to be driving around in my open face autocross spec helmet.
I assume you're going to want a closed face helmet. So you can have
glasses.
Okay.
I don't have a closed face helmet.
We have extras.
Actually, yes, please give me a closed face helmet so no one sees me driving a Slingshot.
In fact, I'll probably give you an extra anyway so that like if you want to take a guest out, Corbett or Dane or Matthew or Emily.
I'm not putting Emily in that.
Do it.
No.
Do it. She might love it.
She's not going to love it.
Might awaken a sporty desire of hers.
Okay.
Instead of getting a Genesis GV70 or a Macan, she can get a Slingshot.
She dailies a Slingshot. Yeah.
What a flex. What else do we have here?
2-liter inline 4 gasoline.
Yeah, let's get to the motor.
203 horsepower.
That's for the 2020 model year.
Okay. At 8,200 RPM, that revs pretty high. How do they get an Ecotec to rev that high?
Well, wait a minute. No. Over here. Originally, the first gen, 2015 to 2019, was a 2.4-liter Ecotec inline 4.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Now it's a Polaris Pro Star 2-liter inline 4.
That's probably much better.
It is probably much better. You're right. We need to look at some power figures
8,000
here.
RPM.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's going to be like a GT3.
Actually, it produces peak power at 8,250. Did it show you a red line somewhere?
Well, it's got to rev to at least 8,250.
Right, it might rev even higher than that, though, which is pretty cool.
You're going to be able to live out your Porsche dreams with this.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just cheap man's Porsche. I wonder what the AutoDrive 5-speed automated manual is.
That's a BMW shifter.
Yeah, well, because that was one of the first mainstream automated manuals, probably.
Yeah. BMW was super early on that with the SMG.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Transmission is essentially the same standard 5-speed synchro mesh equipped manual gearbox, but the clutch and shifting are hydraulically actuated and computer controlled.
That's probably not too bad of an auto then. If it is automatic.
This could end up being kind of fun. Who knows with the updated model? Let's see.
Oh, you know what? The whatever company, the little T-Rex thing. Do you know what that is? It's like the slingshot, but it has a roof. Oh. Yeah.
203 horsepower. I'm curious what the previous one made.
144, probably similar. A little bit less, probably, because
18 Polaris slingshot. 173. So this is going to be better because I briefly drove the last gen slingshot and it was nothing to write home about.
Oh, I didn't know you've driven
just
a slingshot.
Like around a parking lot.
Oh,
because you had to have a motorcycle license back then, and I didn't back then.
How sure are you that you still don't have to?
Fairly sure. Not 100%.
Well, if not, then oh no, let's have to ride with you and not drive it.
Oh, Robin Warner drove it. New engine transmission, still just 1-wheel drive. There's no heater.
What? It doesn't have heat?
Apparently not. Yeah, it's 80. Oh, that was its previous. Wait, it's only 178. Oh, if you get the Slingshot R, you get 203. If you get the non-R, it's only 178 horse. Why would you not just step up, man? Don't be a bitch. Sometimes I don't understand base model engines in sporty cars.
Like the 2-liter Supra. That's the worst one for me.
2-liter Supra, or the one that really gets me is the Porsche 911 Turbo model. That's not the Turbo S. Who's buying just the Turbo?
No, Porsche just does that so they can have 20 different trim levels. Because how many are there? There's the base.
There's 9. Yeah.
Base S.
We're doing this.
4S.
GTS.
Well, hold on. Don't get ahead of yourself.
You got to either do it within. Are you doing drive lines?
Yes. Oh yeah. No, because it's all different. If the badge on the back is different.
Okay, so but it's going to be easiest to keep yourself refined by just so body style.
So hard top, base Targa, base cab. Okay. S.
Wait, you said Targa convertible cab?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the base.
Yep.
And then the 4-wheel drive versions of all 3 of those.
Yep.
That's 6. And then the S version of all 3 of those. Although the Targa, it's limited on what trims you can get on the Targa.
I know.
We'll never be.
You probably just can't get a GTS Targa. You can probably get an S Targa.
I don't know that you can get a non 4-wheel drive Targa though, because I think they're all Targa 4s or something. Just go to the Porsche website and you'll be able to, because they'll have them all in like a grid layout as the Germans do.
Yes, they do lay them out quite nicely, which is their saving grace. 911. Compare or configure or models?
Configure. No.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
All right, so your 911 Carrera, your Carrera cab, Carrera 4, Carrera 4 cab, Carrera S cab, Carrera 4S, Carrera 4S cab, Targa 4, which is not a Carrera, Targa 4S, Carrera GTS cab, Carrera 4 GTS, Carrera 4 GTS cab, Targa 4 G. So they do make a GTS
Targa 4 GTS.
And the 911 Edition 50 years Porsche design.
Keep going, there's way more.
And then there's the Turb skis. You got the Turbo cab, the Turbo S, the Turbo S cab, and then the GT3 and the GT3 with touring package.
Yeah, and there's not even a new GT3 RS yet, which you'll have.
You'll have the RS, and then you'll have the GT2.
GT2 RS, yeah.
Yeah. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 different 911s currently.
That's honestly less than I would have guessed.
There are quite a few 718s at this point as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 718s.
You've driven like all of those too.
I've driven quite a few. Let's see. I don't know if I've ever driven. No, I have driven a base. I've never driven a base Cayman, but I've driven a base Boxster.
And you drove the Boxster T, didn't you?
Yep, I drove the Boxster T. I've driven the Cayman S, the Boxster S, the Cayman GT4 4-liter. Never driven a Boxster 4-liter.
What? Yeah, you did. The first edition one was a 4-liter, wasn't it? Or the
yes, but I've never driven that explicit.
Not first edition. What was it? 20th?
25 years.
25 years.
Yep. So yes, I've essentially driven that one, but it was special. And then I haven't driven a GT4, but I've driven the GT4 RS.
You've never driven any GT4? Not even a 981?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
No, this was
I've
my
driven
first one.
Something you haven't. Oh, you've driven that though, so.
Only in the track though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Porsche makes special cars, and we're really hoping they give us one for our rally coming up here in a few weeks.
So far set in stone 3 cars currently, right?
Yes. So far currently set in stone 3 cars. Just got a response from Ford this morning because I pinged them and she said we'll have an update soon. Still not a no or a yes. Yeah, for a Mustang. So to give everyone a little bit of context on what we're doing, it's actually pretty neat. We're taking a trip around the state of Michigan, which for those of you who are geographically uninclined, it is a mitten, essentially. It's a peninsula. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Why can I not figure out how to do this and show the camera?
Because it's just an awkward angle. It's easier for me. Yeah. And then we'll be going all the way up the eastern side the first night along Lake Huron, spending the night up north, and the western side day 2, coming back over. We'll be making 5 stops each day because the goal is to have 5 convertible grand touring sports cars. The initial idea came from the McLaren SL. Mercedes SL. I'm dreaming here. Yeah, no, the Mercedes, which I should hit up McLaren and just be like, hey, do you want us to put 1,000 miles on the 720S Spider? I thought about it.
Put Nathan in a 720S.
Yeah, there you go. The Mercedes SL is like, this would be a perfect new car. It just came back out. It'd be like the ultimate car for this trip, you know? But Mercedes said no. No, / they don't have one. You never know the real reason. Either way, they're not playing ball. But we're still on it, and we still want to make it happen. So we have a Lexus LC500.
Which is the best one.
Which will be excellent.
Yeah.
We have a Jaguar F-Type R, which I could see being one of the more endearing of the 3 cars.
Is that a 2-seater? Or is that
4-seater? I'm fairly it's 2-seater. And then the BMW M4 convertible. I don't think it's a competition.
With a soft top. You probably can't do a competition convertible. Maybe you can.
You never know, but let's double check here. I think we have the action.
Where are we sleeping up north?
My grandmother's house.
Oh, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Thought we were sleeping in the cars.
Then you definitely want to be in the Lexus. No, I guess you'd want the M4 because you could recline the seat the most.
Yeah, you can't put the seats down in any of those cars, though, can you? The M4 has a ski chute. Can you put the seats down in the M4?
Probably because it's a 4-seater.
Yeah, but I don't think you can put the seats down.
Oh, I'm thinking recline the driver's seat.
No, I mean like sleep through into the trunk.
Oh, yeah, no. I don't think you'd be able to do that.
Mustang, you probably could.
Everyone gets to see all the cars. It is a competition. In Tanzanite blue, too, metallic.
I was envisioning it in blue, so that's nice. I'm psychic.
Is it? What blue is this?
I don't know.
Oh, it's the dark blue. That's pretty, but not very showy.
I like that color, though. That's the color that was on the M3 that we had.
Interesting. So this will clearly be an automatic then, being a competition.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine for a trip like this.
I like the automatic in that car is weird, but we'll get into that shortly.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I guess we will. So yeah, that'll be. Oh God, I really hope it doesn't have the sports seats. That'd be so stupid.
I will volunteer. You know what though? They're not.
Once you're in them, you're fine. It's the getting in and out.
Getting in and out is the bad part.
And we have to switch 5 times. Yeah. So, but fortunately, it's not like you specifically will be.
You don't have to get in and out of it
once. Yeah. Once in, once out.
Yeah.
Yep.
It probably each day might have the seats.
Why would they do that in a convertible though? It doesn't need it.
It probably has the seats. We should get that for a track day and just do the track day with a convertible top down. Yeah. I think that's frowned upon.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes, so we've got those 3 cars. The goal is to get, ideally, the ideal car would be either just a base 911 cab or even more so a 911S cab. The reason I would like to get a 911 so much for this is we've always wondered which would we have, a 911 or an LC500.
Right.
Because you drive a 911 and you're like, this is the best car ever. You drive an LC500 convertible and you're like, this is the best car ever.
Yeah.
So we really need them back to back. Which is best car. Yeah, exactly. So if we are able, if the Porsche gods are in good favor with us and give us a 911, it'll be really interesting to spend 1,000 miles with them between 5 people and really come to a consensus on which one is better. And the trip will essentially turn into a separate trip of which is best, LC500 or 911, and then what's cool about the rest of the cars. Mm-hmm. The 5th car, I really would have liked, obviously, the Mercedes would have been great. Any of them, even the GTC would have been excellent, or like an E450 cab would have been cool or something. No Mercedes convertibles. Tried to get an Audi convertible. They were actually very interested, but they didn't have any. They have like 2 convertibles in Miami and 1 in LA. So they're like, we don't have any around.
Yeah.
It's like S5 S5 convertibles, which would have been fine.
Yeah.
Cool. But probably kind of boring compared to the other cars.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and TT I asked for as well, and they didn't have any.
They make the TT, wow.
Yeah, they do. They have 5-cylinder in the RS.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah. New RS3s come in this year too with an updated 5-cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
So then, who else did we
Ford.
Well, after those two cars brands not being available, I was like, all right, well, Corvette would, especially like a 3LT Corvette would actually fit in pretty well with these and be interesting. And interestingly, Corvette says that they're in model year turnover and don't have any press cars, which is dumb. Like, why don't you hold on to a few of your press cars until the new ones come in?
We should just get a Challenger and saw the roof off.
There you go. That's probably a good idea. I'm sure there's some place around Metro Detroit
that would do it for us in like 2 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that sort of thing. Or they'll just steal it and, then it'll just be gone. Side note, a Chrysler 300 was stolen off the street in my neighborhood last week.
Oh.
To be fair, it was left on with the keys in it running.
Oh, well,
But still.
I mean, they could have
stolen. Still a Chrysler 300.
They could have had it with no. Did you know? I don't think I've ever told you this. My grandfather in 2004, 2003 or 2004 had
Stole a 300?
No, yeah. No, he had his Chrysler 300M stolen out of his driveway while the keys were in it while it was running. And fun fact, I was supposed to be in the car because we were going to go somewhere, and he would 9 times out of 10 would put me in the car as it he'd put me in the car and then he'd like go lock the door and whatever he was doing.
Wow.
For some reason that day, he started the car without me in it. And I remember I was sitting in the kitchen and you can see his driveway from his kitchen and there's a window. And I remember seeing the car just yeet backwards out of the driveway. And it was involved in a high-speed chase. They rear-ended a semi.
Great.
And all of the people in the car, I think that's the safest word, were all only in underwear when they were arrested.
Arrested, so not found dead.
No, they all lived. Well, they were in a chase, rear-ended a semi, and then that was it. That ended it.
Sure. Okay.
Totaled the car.
It wasn't just like a love tap.
No, I saw the car after. It was pretty smashed.
Wow.
It went to city body after, and it was a very nice. Remember the Chrysler 300?
Oh yeah,
it was
like
an Intrepid.
Yeah. No, but they're quite nice.
It was nice. It was silver with black
I appreciated
interior.
the soft flowing round lines of that car.
Yeah, it was a nice car. And then he that was totaled, so he replaced it with another Chrysler 300M, except it was gray this time instead of silver.
Big difference.
Yeah.
No, I always liked the 300M. I wonder if you were a car thief and you got into a car to steal it and you saw a young child or baby sitting in the car, if you would continue.
Probably not. Or they would have just taken me out, like lifted me up and set me down.
Yeah.
That's probably what they would have done.
Right, because I mean that's a much larger charge to have child.
Yeah,
abduction.
I don't think anyone is really interested in. And also, why would you want to bring a kid with you? Like that's.
But also, these people are idiots, so who knows?
I guess maybe.
Right.
Well, glad I wasn't in the car. I may not have been here now. They might have just shot me or something.
Right.
So.
They very well may have.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, no Chrysler Dodge Challenger coming on this one. No roof sawing happening for the DM Rally 2022.
Let's bring a Durango Hellcat.
I don't. The problem is then we'd all go broke.
Yeah. True.
So now we're waiting on the Porsche, fingers crossed, and then a Ford Mustang GT convertible would actually be a pretty cool car to have.
What about a Nissan Z?
No convertible.
So?
I know.
Last resort. That's a GT car.
Well, okay, so let's get into if we have to. Well, excuse me.
Jesus.
That was not gluten, actually. That was passion fruit. If we can't get the Mustang or 911, Chris and I decided our next ask will be for some sort of mini convertible. Ideally, ideally a JCW
with BMW performance exhaust.
Yes, that would be the ultimate. In fact, I should call and see if they have one of those around. But if not, there was an S convertible we had last year that hopefully is still around. In fact,
that was a JCW convertible.
Was a JCW, right?
Which is a really good little car.
There's an S convertible going to Mama. I saw on the list.
Yes.
So worst case, we could ask for that.
Yeah.
Not ideal. S does not make much
minis,
power.
Though.
I like
Chris
them
doesn't
too.
like the minis.
Yeah.
He thinks they're too numb.
Yeah, Chris doesn't like things that he can't drive at 10/10 and feel the gravel rattling his teeth.
Yeah. No, that's accurate.
Yeah. He drove that i4 M50 and was like, yeah, above 8/10 it really falls apart. I'm like, how often are you driving over 8/10, Chris?
Well, when you're him, it's all the time.
I know. I feel like Austin is going to have the world's strongest neck, his child, because he's going to have to keep it braced whenever he rides with Daddy.
You know, it's funny you say that. Austin could hold his own head up remarkably early.
Chris was probably doing exercises with him. He probably looked up like how to strengthen a baby's neck early on and was like slowly releasing.
He just like took him out in the ring with 392 and did a bunch of acceleration.
Exactly. It's called Darwinism. The baby was adapting very quickly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's like, Charlotte, no, hold your tit up a little higher so the baby has to reach for it and really pull that neck, do a little bit of a sit up to eat. That was the Topher raising his child. Still is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think there are any other convertibles outside of all those. Obviously, there's Camaro convertibles. Chevy doesn't have one. There's a bunch of other shitty convertibles that I don't think, like, actually, are there even a bunch of other shitty convertibles?
We should purchase, hear me out. We should purchase a Nissan Murano Cross Cabriolet as the backup car.
That would be excellent. I wonder...
Can we... Or maybe, like, Kia of Canton has one on the used lot.
If they did, we need to film it for one.
Yeah.
Let's check out Auto Trader for...
Maybe all of the stars will align and Buttman will have a Murano Cross Cabriolet on the lot.
That'd be amazing.
And we'll just take it for the week.
The hard thing is they actually have their own model. Is what dealers are going to let us put 1,000 miles on a car? We'd have to buy it.
Well, we can buy it.
Can
Write
we?
it off on the...
There's 0 within 50 miles.
Probably a lot in like California.
0 results.
There's
none?
none?
It's still at 50. Any.
Oh. How many are there?
4 matches.
There's 4 in the entire country?
No. Here.
There's gotta be
yes.
More. What?
4.
Who's but 20? Oh God. That's only 10 grand. That's not too bad. Top probably doesn't work. That's a big issue with these is the tops break and then no one knows how to fix them.
So these are both at Chaya Brothers Auto and Salvage LLC.
Okay, so those probably have salvage titles and are rebuilt titles.
Private seller 600 miles away.
$30,000. Could you imagine spending... What else can you get for 30 grand? You could have a Boxster for that.
Yeah, you could have a Lexus IS350. Which would be a great convertible.
My uncle's... Well, I guess you could say my aunt at this point. My aunt had a IS convertible. Very rare car. She loved it.
Yep.
And when they went to sell it, it literally... They had a guy... They live on the East Coast. And they had a guy fly in from like the West Coast to come in and get it because he had been looking for one for his daughter for her first car, that sort of thing. Sure. Yeah, he literally flew across country to get their IS convertible.
Fun fact, my aunt also has an IS350 convertible.
Really?
It still has it.
It's a very aunt car.
Yeah.
It is very much like...
Well, it's a great car. You got 4 seats.
Convertible.
It's decent motor. It's reliable.
Yeah.
They're thinking of selling it to replace it with LC500 convertible.
Really?
Yes.
My aunt replaced hers with a Audi A4, and then she now drives a Macan. Replaced the Audi with a Macan. Nice. I have so many family members with Porsches. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I have 2 aunts that drive Macans. I have an uncle with a Cayman S. I have a cousin with a 911, an 80s 911.
Your mother really needs to get a Macan to fit in. Yeah, I think that's the only.
We're a big Porsche family.
This Murano seems like the perfect one to buy, though. Purchased new, so that's one owner, 27,000 miles, always garaged. Most of the time, vehicle spent in Naples, Florida. No scratches, dents, always dealer maintained. All new tires, battery, fluids, wheel alignment, needs nothing.
Did you think of a more appropriate place for that than Naples, Florida?
And then 0%. Yeah, no, it was the.
You probably appreciate the tan roof.
Yeah, I do. That's very interesting color. It's such a strange car.
Was this car just like a marketing
practically
thing?
I gotta admit, and it kind of works though. Oh, does it have it's tan steering wheels? Perfect for Matthew.
Oh my God, please.
we should
send this to him.
He's in Florida right now. He could drive it home.
Drive it home. Wow. Yeah.
Perfect.
Matthew does this thing where he like books a trip and then he like stays an extra day because he lets Delta bribe him with $1,000. He does that every single time he goes somewhere. He stays an extra day and he gets $1,000. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, I almost got that once, but it didn't end up happening. I was bummed.
Yeah.
This probably has as much trunk space as an IS350
That has
convertible.
no room in the back, does it?
Yeah, no, it really doesn't. It was bold of the seller to
What
even
is
take
the
a photo
purpose
of that.
of the car? It's just like the same reason someone buys a.
Well, it's an all-wheel drive convertible, and back then
Oh,
that
is it
wasn't
all-wheel
particularly
drive?
common.
Okay.
Yeah, because now you have a lot of, pretty much all cars are all-wheel drive. But back in 2012 or whenever, when this first came out, that was not as common.
Yeah.
So only 4 of those in the country. I think it's more likely for us to find a PT Cruiser convertible.
That was going to be my next suggestion. Or a serious one that would be a good one, a Fiat 500 Abarth cabriolet.
That's true. Let's see.
That
what
would
we
be
can
a good one.
find.
You could probably get one of those for like $5,000.
Not in this market.
$9,000.
$9,000 for a 500 Abarth
They used
convertible?
to be like, they literally used to be like $6,000 before the market went crazy. I think Hoovie bought one for like $4,000.
Yeah, but you saw what his was like.
Yeah. Wow, there's a disgusting base model for 12.5 with O'Reilly hubcaps. That's not promising.
All right, let's do, first of all, we need to do body style convertible. That narrows us down to 6
6?
within the 50 miles.
Oh.
And then we want transmission. There's a
$26,000? What?
Told you.
That's probably $5,000 more than it was new.
Here are the other ones. Here's 17,000.
Oh, you know why? Because they don't make these anymore. So now they're like becoming collectible.
Right. So really, we could purchase one, hold on to it for a little while, clean it up, and probably flip it. Although I don't, it'd be tough and
GQ edition. You know, they made a Gucci version of the Fiat 500.
Really?
Yeah. It had like the Gucci print on the seats and stuff, and the seat belts were like Gucci.
Did they make an E convertible?
No. I always wanted to get a Fiat 500e and drive it through a shopping mall. Wouldn't that be so fun? Because you wouldn't pollute anyone inside.
Except for maybe pollute their legs with injuries.
Well, you do it while it's empty. I always thought it would be funny to do a comparo between a 500e and a smart electric.
Oh yeah, that'd be a fun compare.
Indoors. Like you do the whole comparison inside of a mall or something.
Or like a go-kart track.
Or a go-kart track, yeah.
So it looks like the cheapest one is $11,000.
That's not
private
too bad.
seller 2,000 miles away.
1,000% has a rebuilt title. Guaranteed.
Oh. Brand? Oh, sorry, the guys. This is gonna come up on it. Oh no, it's the same. It's you that can't see it.
Who?
You. Here.
Me.
Yeah. I guess you can look both ways. Oh, miles. Oh. Yeah. You want to get this one?
That's the car.
You know, the Topher would probably really appreciate this.
He loves these.
Yeah.
I've never driven one. I really want to.
Admittedly, this would probably not be the best highway cruiser. Probably not.
No, but it would be fun on the tunnel of trees.
Yeah, you're right. It would. It'd probably be the.
We might have some issues scraping because I used to scrape in my Lexus driving the tunnel of trees.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll be fine. My Boxster was fine.
Oh, really? Why did I scrape? I don't know. I scraped a couple times. Maybe it was like my undershield. Oh, and more body roll too.
Yeah. No, are there any other new convertibles we're forgetting? There's the Miata, but no one's going to want to do this trip in a Miata.
I hate driving Miatas long distances. I've done it enough.
Right.
Yeah, just what was that hideous Buick thing that they made for like 2 years?
Oh, the Cascada. I think it was sold pretty decently. Yeah, I think we've accounted for just about all these. Continental GT, we asked Bentley.
McLaren.
They pretty much ghosted us.
Is this all the new convertibles you can get?
I believe so.
No, there's no. Oh, the Mustang is. Well, no, the LC wasn't on there. Oh no, it is right there. Wow.
Ferrari, we forgot those. Sure. Ferrari wants to give us our first loan to put 1,000 miles on.
Have you seen that meme where it's like it's like that TikTok sound where Kris Jenner's like, well, why don't you just call Taylor up? Like referring to Taylor Swift, like, why don't you just call Taylor Swift? That's like us calling Ferrari. Why don't you just call Ferrari?
Yeah. Audi R8, we didn't exactly figure Audi would be able to do.
Why don't we try and get an M8?
Because we're already gotten the M4.
So? You don't like the M8. Why don't you like the M8?
No, I like the 8 series. I don't like the M8.
I honestly, I
didn't drive
understand.
well.
No, I understand that because
Yeah.
M cars are like really irritating sometimes.
Yeah. And when that's supposed to be this beautiful like grand touring luxury sort of car, and all of a sudden it's trying to be fast but not very good at being engaging.
Yeah.
That was the cool thing about the GT63S is it still managed to drive like a sports car, even though it's huge. M8 just felt huge and just not right. Nothing about it felt sorted right. And it was that awful green, bright green, look at me color and stuff. Yeah. But the 8 Series in general, like the M850i.
Good car.
Good car. Yeah.
I think the interiors in those are kind of underwhelming.
A little bit. They look a lot bit more like their base cars.
They could go a little crazier.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The Alpina was nice. At least had like a lot of leather and stuff. But
Have
still
you-
a little underwhelming.
I think the answer is no, but have you driven any AMG GT?
No. I've not driven anything AMG besides the G-Wagon.
Wow. Yeah, we need to try to get an AMG GT over the summer, preferably an R. That's so cool. It's one of my favorite cars.
Yeah.
It really is quite good. All right, so let's start going through. If we can't get a convertible,
Nissan GTR
so
would be a good one.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a GT car.
Yeah, right. I guess it's not bad.
Yeah, GTR would be a good one.
GTR 370Z or the new Z. Sorry, Nissan.
Yeah.
Would
So
not
a
be
couple of good options from our favorite car
automaker.
brand,
Yep.
Nissan.
Yep. And only one of them is ancient at this point.
Right.
Yeah. What else? Obviously, could do any of the Porsches and hardtop
Mustang
form.
Mach 1.
Mustang Mach 1, I guess we could.
I don't like the Mach 1 though.
I don't either. Yeah. I saw a nice Mustang Bullet yesterday.
That
Very
was a cool one. The
Mhm.
Bullet was cooler than the Mach 1.
Yeah, it went progressively less cool. Each new time they recycle that motor, it gets less
It
cool
gets
because there's a
less cool.
Bullet, and then the PPL2, which pretty much came out at the same time as the Bullet,
Yeah.
and now the Mach 1. And I bet you they'll have like one more like Boss edition or something that comes
Yeah.
out for the new.
Well, the new Mustang is coming in 2024. I
Right,
believe.
so they'll probably have
Yeah.
it like a 2023 Mustang.
They'll have some
Boss 30
something.
blow
They
me.
might. They
or
probably
not.
just do a Boss 302 again. They haven't done
Yeah.
one of those in a while.
Yep, exactly. So that's what they'll do.
It's all the same car. They just put
the
different
same
stickers
exact
on it.
car, and they say this one's made for this and that.
No,
Yeah.
it's all
But
the same.
I gotta give it to Ford. It's smart marketing.
It is.
It is because you can keep recycling, just like Dodge. They just keep
recycling
recycling
it, and then all the boomers just eat it up.
Right. The boomers are even honestly people not much older than us. Sometimes.
They really are boomer cars, though. How many Mach 1s do
No,
you
I
actually
agree with
see
you.
going
They're
up?
mostly boomer cars,
Yeah.
but like in terms of building hype, like you get like
Oh,
more
right.
degenerate people are like, oh, that's the new Mach 1. Like that's
Yeah. Why do I feel like
Um,
this chair is...
I don't know.
Sorry. It just looks short on camera. That looks better.
I think the camera's angled up a little bit more than
My
usual,
hair is
too.
also... I'm gonna get my hair trimmed.
You know, it's interesting you say that because I saw some photos. I was going through my photos this past weekend and of you in the shorter hair, and I don't think it looked as good. You look more mature with the longer hair.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it long. It's
Yeah.
just gonna be like
Okay.
a couple inches off because it's so like poofy. And
Let's see if.
comment down below. I
Yeah,
should get a
comment-
perm.
Should you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It basically does perm, anyways. It's so damn curly.
Yeah, you could get cleaned up a little bit, but honestly, like once you get to a point of kind of where you are, you sort of need to just say fuck it.
That's what I've done because I literally since COVID started, I've gotten like one trim.
Okay.
Just like a shape up.
Sure.
And that's it. I haven't done anything else.
Did you see our buddy next door, Andrew, trimmed up his beard and hair and everything?
Did
It's
he? I
very
didn't-
short.
yeah.
Very cleaned up.
I
It's
just
just
talked to
today.
him.
It's just today. when
Oh
I saw
no,
it.
then no, I haven't.
Yeah. Yep.
Go
Anyway.
take a look at him.
Yeah, with the podcast. Carry the
Hi Andrew.
camera.
He's probably listening. Hi Andrew.
I mean, he might be. No, going back to the Mustang though, that's why Camaro has done so shitty lately in sales. Is Chevy doesn't do any special editions, and that's why Camaro
They
has
should
like,
do like a
fell off.
Yenko or a Z28. They used to
Yeah.
do more.
Yeah, I
They've
know.
just given up.
The last one they did was a Hot Wheels edition.
That is a boomer car right there.
Exactly. Yeah, and so
1968 when the first Hot Wheels came out.
yeah, I mean Ford is so good. They had stupid things like the Hertz edition and stuff like
They're
that.
doing that again. Can you think of anything more terrifying than giving just anyone a 1,000 horsepower Shelby GT500? Anyone can just go in and rent it.
You should. That should be like owning a gun.
Yeah.
You should have to be
Well-
registered and licensed. Well, there are people who would disagree with that too. So fair enough. Yeah. Either way, Chevy's
Those
stupid.
are more lethal, I think, than guns.
Yeah, probably. You can probably kill more people quickly
At once.
At
You could,
once
'cause
in
if
one
you
fell
spin
swoop.
It, if you had a bunch of people in a crowd, as they do.
Standing outside
I know
of a
this
car
is
and
such
coffee.
an overdone thing, but seriously, if you spin it sideways and you...
Right.
Lots of like...
Clink, 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 clink.
Of like
a
the
lot
blood.
of crushing.
Yeah.
Yep. So outside of the big three, what other sporty coupes or sedans could we think of?
A Challenger would honestly be cool, but they don't have any, do they?
They have that one that's going to be at Mama. We should get that Challenger 392.
That would be... Now, do people steal those up north? This is me being 100% serious. Because we would probably have to be careful with
nothing gets stolen up north.
Okay.
Yep. It's too far to drive into Detroit.
Okay. So we'd be fine without it getting stolen.
Correct.
Okay.
We would have to be careful as we drive through Detroit that it's not stolen while we're driving it.
I think you're okay while driving. It's just while it's parked.
I did have a friend who in Troy, her mother was yanked out of her car, Grand Theft Auto style.
Yeah, what kind of car was it?
That's good. I used to remember and now I don't.
We just don't stop at red lights.
Yeah, honestly, I was driving the Lexus RCF through Detroit years ago, and I would just keep going. Like I'd stop,
look both ways, and
look both ways.
Driving.
Yeah, nope.
Yeah, it's scary.
So yeah, I think there are some options. I think if we have to, I want to get an answer back from Porsche and Ford this week, and if either of them's no, we're gonna go for the Mini. And then I think the Challenger's a really good idea.
would be fun.
Yeah.
What else? Why are we're like bad at thinking of it? Just look up coupes.
Coupes.
Why don't we get the LC hybrid?
No. Although we would appreciate saving a little money on gas. Not doing a BRZ or an 86. Already talked Mustang, Challenger, Camaro. Oh, well, we already have the BMW, but Nathan keeps trying to get us an M240i, which would be a good car.
He wants to have one of those on it?
We are. Oh, and he also said RCF would be a good car, but we already
don't
have a
like
Lexus.
that anymore, do they?
Yes. Yeah.
Get something from a brand that we don't already have.
Right, exactly. That'd be the goal. Could double check with Audi and Porsche to see if they have anything cool. In fact, actually, I asked Audi, I'm like, do you have anything coupey that we could have? And they're like, we don't have shit.
What about a Huracan?
Oh, yeah. Why don't you just call Taylor up? They put Polestar 1.
That's a cool one. God, we have to stop and
I was going to say, everyone makes it to the first stop. Oh, yeah, that's right.
You're just driving on its crummy little four-cylinder engine.
We can consider the Polestar 1. Yeah, why was the Z not even listed? This was not a very... That's a Mark Takashi. I can't remember how to pronounce his last name. It's like Taka... It sounds like Takashi, but there's a few extra letters in there. I'm forgetting.
Okay.
Cool guy. There's some Rolls-Royce coupes.
I mean, we're in with them now.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, so can we have a Wraith? Or what's it called? The Dawn?
There you go. Maserati Gran Turismo.
Oh, wait.
That'd be neat.
Yeah.
That'd be really neat. I should hit them up.
I love that car, and I've never driven one.
Yeah, same. But I've always been quite a fan.
We haven't had a Maserati in a while. You should just try and get any Maserati for that.
MC12.
Even if it, even if it's like a shitty like Ghibli or something.
Cadillac CT5V Blackwing wouldn't be a bad idea.
Get it again.
Yeah, why not? This one's under Chris's name.
Yeah, sure.
And then Aston Martin, I asked very much hard for them, but they said 300-mile limit. So, but we should still try to get one general. Yeah, Acura NSX is also an option.
Oh.
So once we throw coupes in there, it really opens this up.
Yeah, it does open it up. Why did they never do a Targa NSX of the newer gen?
I don't know. Maybe because this is a weird car. The NSX. It's like they wanted it to be good, but only within a very narrow parameter. Yeah. So that's we'll see what ends up happening. Worst case scenario, we go out and buy a PT Cruiser and a 500 Abarth, and those end up being the two most fun cars that we have on this trip. So to the cars that we actually have this week, and last week, we should do last week first. We had the
BMW M4 competition xDrive.
Yep. And we also had, was it EV6 last week? No.
What? Volvo XC40.
XC40,
you were just driving. You drove it here this morning.
I immediately dump out just like whatever car I've been in and just like done. That Volvo XC40, let's start with that first.
Okay.
It's a good car, but again, as we've talked with some other cars recently, it's a very crowded segment. Yeah, so it makes it kind of tough to be like, this is the best one when there are a lot of other good options. The cool thing that it results in is you can really be picky. And if there's a very specific thing, whether it's you want interior or infotainment or powertrain or exterior looks or whatever, like you can get it in the subcompact and compact crossover segments.
Yeah.
I like the XC40, even in gas form.
Best part, it has a crystal shift knob.
It does have a crystal shift knob, and I'm a bit disappointed that the electric one did not.
Well, the electric one had a whole different mechanism.
Right.
Like it went into gear differently.
But I still wish they could have found a place to put crystal.
Yeah.
Crystal turn signal stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah. As the sun comes in, it just like blinds you.
Yeah, it's a good and fine car, but like, I don't know. I'm a little bothered that with the all-wheel drive car, you have to put premium fuel in it. And then with the front-wheel drive car, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you get on the highway?
32. EPA's 30.
Cool. I did the same in the M4.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the remarkable thing. Let's switch over to the M4 competition, which you spent some time in.
I did. I actually spent quite a few days in that car.
Yeah. Amazing car in terms of its capabilities.
Yeah, engineering, just masterpiece.
Marvel.
Like it's just, BMW has this way of making these powertrains that are incredibly fast, but also incredibly efficient.
Yeah.
And we saw that with the B58. I think, is this the S58 in the M4?
I don't know. I don't
know.
remember.
Usually the M cars have an S, I think now. I don't know. But we saw it with the B58 and got incredible fuel economy in the M240i and the X3 M40i.
Yeah.
Higher than EPA. So I was expecting this M4 competition xDrive.
All-wheel drive car.
All-wheel drive.
Sticky ass tires.
500 horsepower. You know.
All geared for going fast. There's no eco mode.
No. It's just.
It's efficient, but not eco.
Yeah. Well, you just leave it in street mode.
Yeah. Which is
is efficient.
Efficient engine. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
EPA
so
was
EPA
what?
is 22. So I was expecting, of course, I always expect BMWs to beat EPA. So I was expecting somewhere in like the 24 to 26 neighborhood. And I get on the highway and like immediately within 5 minutes, the car is already reading that it's doing like 24. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So this is being optimistic. And it just kept going up and up and up. And it got to like 29 and it stayed pretty steady. And I was like, holy crap, this thing's going to get 29. Like, that's incredible. And then I do like the little turnaround and I come back and it starts creeping up again. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I think the car, the readout on the car ended up being 30.5. And then with our math, it was like 31.4. So I figure average of both of those is 31.
Yeah. In that case, because the EPA is so low, I would drop down to 30. Just for thinking in the future, because I try to kind of like triangulate. You know, you got like the EPA.
Well,
which,
I haven't edited it yet, so I can put the graphic can say 30.
Then you'd have to explain because you probably said 31 when you.
I don't remember what I said.
Well, see if it works. Either way,
I usually read both. I usually am like, here's what the car said, and here's our math. So just like, you know.
Sure. Take your thing from there. Yeah. I would go probably with 30 because, like, you know, maybe we just had such perfect ideal conditions that I'd like to err a little down for that. But still, 30 miles per gallon. And that thing.
In a fire-breathing, all-wheel drive, 500 horsepower, turbocharged. Like,
it's the aero and the tires and the all-wheel driveness that impressed me with that. Because people forget that in order to make power, you have to be efficient too. You're like efficiently utilizing the gasoline and the oxygen that go in the engine. Kind of makes sense that it's still an efficient powertrain. But yeah, the fact that we're dealing with sticky tires and the extra aero bits in the competition car and everything, and still getting 30 miles per gallon, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that you're starting to find joy in some of these fuel economy tests that are like genuinely interesting.
I mean, I always want the cars to do good. It makes me sad when they like don't meet EPA.
Yeah.
Which we see a lot with hybrid cars.
Hybrids, and sometimes just... This was actually kind of interesting when I worked at Car and Driver and we first started doing these highway fuel economy tests. After we had done about 200 cars, I took some time and brought up our spreadsheets, and that's why I want to get a Daily Motor spreadsheet made as well. But I broke down all the cars based on country of origin, and German cars, 70% of them beat EPA.
Wow. Asian
cars, I just put Japanese and Koreans together, 50-50.
Okay.
And American cars, 30% beat EPA.
Okay.
70% were below. So isn't that, it's just kind of interesting of like, for whatever reason.
Well, it's kind of the same with horsepower figures too.
Yeah, you're right.
BMWs always underestimate their cars.
Yep.
And I guess we can if you want to talk about how that was probably the fastest 500 horsepower we've ever
It's
felt.
just so strong. I bet you if they put it on a dyno at like 520.
Wheel.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so fast. And because it's xDrive, it can put the power down so immediately.
It like spins the front wheel. It like feels like it's going to wheelie when it takes off.
Yeah.
And usually you only feel that sensation in SUVs. But this M4 literally felt like it was going to wheelie.
We also found that it almost yanks you harder without
when you don't use
control.
launch control. Yeah, because you can sit there for a second and let it build the boost up, and like, and then once you hear it get up there, you let go, and it's just like wham, like it just rips.
Part of me almost wonders if launch control is actually like protecting the transmission a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're just launching,
I never got it to do launch control. I tried so many things and I could never get it to work. So all of my videos I shot on it, I couldn't get it to do launch control.
Okay.
I just gave up at a certain point because usually BMWs are easy too. I don't know. We only got it to do it once.
Yeah. When I only got it to do once.
And you don't even know what you did that made it do that, right?
Yeah.
Because we tried to do it again after.
Tried the usual BMW launch control suspects and it, yeah.
I literally tried every configuration, like everything, and it wouldn't do it. So
I'd be curious to see from either BMW's testing or a magazine or something like that, what's faster on a track, the all-wheel drive car or the rear-wheel drive. Because I think for a longer, straighter track, the rear-wheel drive car would still be faster.
Probably,
makes sense.
Yeah.
But a tighter track, maybe that you could benefit from the grip a little bit better, you know, the traction getting out. But then again, you have to carry more weight through the corners. The car didn't feel as playful, this one that we had, the xDrive
which I
car,
liked.
Which you like, because the normal rear-wheel drive cars are very
sketchy.
Playful. Yeah. Part of me wants, if I'm buying an M car here in 2022, I kind of want it to be a little sketchy and scary, because or else it's just kind of like any old. It's like the GT500. Like anyone could go drive that car. Yeah, the GT500 was very easy to drive. If you left the nannies on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like what I liked about the M4 and M3, especially in rear-wheel drive form, is they felt very like you needed to know what you were doing, even with everything on. Like you just pull out on the road and hit the gas, and it just
and it wants to kill you, which you like.
Yeah, it wants to kill you and other people at the same time, and there's a respect element that has to be had with it. So yeah, I appreciated and liked this car. I wouldn't have one. The all-wheel drive M3 or M4.
I kind of said that in my review. Like I always give M cars grief for being so raw and obnoxious and wanting to kill you, but like that's the point. Like they're supposed to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like I can appreciate that in the form of the M4. Like it just blew my face off. I took Dane out in it, and he was like melted.
Yeah, it's incredible. You know? Yeah, we've definitely driven cars with higher horsepower figures that did not feel as fast, like significantly higher.
Yeah.
I mean, this probably goes 0 to 60 as quick as like a GT500 because it can actually put the power down.
It felt faster than the GT500 to me.
Yeah, which is just
I
crazy.
was scared driving the GT500. I didn't really get on it that hard.
Right. Well, the thing is, like with any Hellcat or the GT500 or ZL1 or whatever, it's like, I don't give a shit about your power over 100 miles per hour, like how fast the speed after that, because I never drive over 100. Like rarely. If I do, it's just to like I get up there and then I coast back down or something. You know, I get it back under. So I don't care how quickly you can go from 100 to 150 or 180 or whatever. I want to get from 0 to 100 very quick.
Can't really do that with those cars. Yeah, they just spin.
Right, exactly.
Like when I was driving the Hellcat Red Eye last year, and I floored it in 5th gear, and it stepped out, and I was like, "That's enough." Back into comfort mode, and we're driving back to the parking lot.
The only saving grace for the Hellcats for me is that the supercharger sounds so cool that it's fun to just lean on it and just hear.
You do have to lean on it. You can't like.
No, you can't. You can't
do that.
Right. You have to lean.
You really got to lean into power on cars like that.
And it's cool that you hear all the supercharger whine and everything. Yeah. So M4, good car. XC40, good car. Just barely. Yeah. This week we are excited to be driving a 2022 Mazda Miata Grand Touring in Soul Red Crystal.
There it is. I was gonna fill that in for you if you didn't say that.
No. Yep. It is an excellent car. It's almost Topher mother spec. I think hers is an RF
with the BBSs and the Brembos.
Right.
Hers is like,
very, very good. But this one is still quite good as well. I took it out. I slid. All is good. And just getting a Miata, and it's just transmission is just so you just two fingers, just very nice. Every shift.
Had a moment with the Miata there.
Yes, it was a good time. Great weather for having the top down. Immediately just thump, top right down.
Still down?
No, I put it up.
Okay.
They wouldn't want to get tree Siemens in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other car we have.
The time of year where the trees are just nutting all over the place.
Yeah, you kind of hear it subtly from everywhere.
Yeah, and they smell.
Well.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Why'd you say it like that?
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other car we have, which you and I will be spending quite a bit of time in, is the Infiniti QX60. Autograph.
Remarkably cheap.
I think that's been Infiniti's motto recently. Surprisingly affordable.
I just mean it's cheap. It's like 60 grand and it has like massaging seats and stuff.
Well, you can get massaging seats in a 60 grand Explorer at this point too.
I know, but it's an Infiniti.
I know,
like
that's the problem with Infiniti is they need to get their shit together and have a wow factor.
Make it more expensive, Infiniti.
Yeah, or at least like Genesis, where like it's got a wow factor even for 60
because it looks
grand or whatever.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got all the features inside you want and everything. Maybe this one does too, but I've driven the QX60 briefly. I wasn't blown away, but I wasn't disappointed either.
Model, right?
Yeah, because it has a 9-speed automatic now, which is pretty good instead of a CVT.
This one's brown also.
Oh, it is? Outside or inside? What? The outside's brown?
Yeah, you didn't see it out there?
No, I haven't looked yet.
It's brown.
What's the inside?
No idea.
Huh. Okay.
I haven't walked up to it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It's like the color of a hearing aid.
Great. Well, you and I are going to be driving that to Wisconsin and back to drive a bunch of other cars this week. So we will have plenty of seat time to report back to you with.
Yes, we will.
60. I think it'll be fine. All I hope is that the highway driving assist, whatever it has, is good. The Pro Pilot Assist, I guess, would be the proper term for a Nissan car. Because you and I are going to be on the highway a lot. Other than that, we're forgetting one. Mustang Mach E GT Performance.
Yeah.
How did your time wrap up with that car?
Well, I drove the Mach E GT in San Francisco in December or November or January. I don't know. Time isn't real. Sometime late last year. And I was very impressed with it at that event because I think I hadn't driven as many EVs. I don't know, but I was really impressed with it. I really, really liked how it drove out on the roads in California. I got into it last week and I just wasn't as impressed. I don't know. There was like a weird inconsistency with the power delivery.
I noticed that too.
Did you notice that?
I did it because
you like floor it sometimes and it was like, wow, it's fast. And then you floor it other times and it felt like a Nissan Kicks.
Yeah. There was one time I was shooting the Winding Road video and I did a 0 to 60 launch and I saw it rocket up to 60 and then dramatically slow off from there.
So that was all the time. But then there were other times where you'd floor it from like 30 miles per hour and it just didn't do anything.
Right, because I kind of tried to replicate it. It would like slowed back down again, blasted again, and then like sometimes it seemed faster than others.
Sometimes it just didn't feel fast at all.
Right, and we're not talking about different charge levels. We're literally talking about like on the same drive, like within minutes of each other. It would feel different.
But then also, I want to go off what you said because if you got a good launch out of it and it did feel fast, once it hit like 70, 80 miles per hour, it just fell on its face. Yeah. No power.
Yep. And Ford like specifically programmed that in there. And that's the little like shittiness that Ford does of certain things that they're trying they like pull wool over the customer's eyes and they're like, look how fast this car is 0 to 60. And then they like save the battery after that by like slowing it way down.
0 to 60, 3.5 seconds, but 60 to 100 is 10 seconds.
Right, exactly. And I get there's a limitation with electric vehicles, but for all I know, the Mach E is the only car that does that. Like every other car will just naturally taper as much as it can, but Ford is the one that like artificially caps it.
So that was, whatever. It's a usable chassis in the way of like the interior is very spacious.
It is spacious. Not as much rear seat room as the EV6, but still a good amount.
Yeah, it's still usable. I think it's an attractive vehicle styling wise, especially with the GT Performance Pack with the wheels, really nice looking wheels. Mm-hmm. It has a frunk, which is nice.
Yeah, usable frunk. EV6 does not have that.
Pretty big frunk. Mm-hmm. The infotainment laggy at startup. They've always been
very laggy.
Ford infotainments always do
even
that.
When it's running. I mean, it's like it's very interesting that we had the Volvo XC40 kind of at the same time because they both have systems where you have to tap a button to bring up your heated seat menu and then tap again. But the Volvo is immediate. It's click, click, click.
I know.
The Ford's is click,
lag,
click, and then like wait for it to make sure you got the right thing. Yeah. And then in that point, you've crashed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, you've crashed into I'm not going to say it. When that car actually felt like you could actually get acceleration out of it. It felt good. You can very, very, very much feel the weight. 5,000 pound SUV.
That's a lot of weight.
Very heavy. You can feel it around corners. It still handles decently well. It's got Magna Ride, the GT Performance. So like that helps.
Yeah, the ride's pretty good.
Yeah.
My frustrations with the Mach-E all go back to, and I have some frustrations with other brands like this too, but yeah, getting back to that idea of Ford not trying to make it seem like they're more impressive than they are. Another example of that is they gave the car's got an impressive amount of range, and in the most efficient spec, the rear wheel drive, the California one, 300 and some miles. But to get that, Ford just put a really large battery in there. To give some context, it's like a 98 kilowatt hour battery. Every other mainstream EV is like around 70. The EV6, the Ioniq 5, the Tesla Model Y, the Bolt. So it's like they're all getting about the same range, but Ford needed to add nearly a 20% larger battery pack to get that. Yeah. Which means if you daily drive this car, you're going to be spending 20% more on electricity to drive it. Not a huge deal, but just like it's one of those things that like, couldn't you just done better? Because it makes the car heavier and less efficient. Kind of frustration.
Ford.
Yeah, and kind of what I said to Chris before as we were swapping cars, my lasting thought on the Mach-E was like, it just shows how tough it is to build an electric vehicle right now for any brand, because it could be excellent, could be best in class 1 year, and then a model and a half year later, it's like there's just better things out on the market right now.
So it does feel a little old, which is crazy.
Because it just came out.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with the Chevy Bolt. The Bolt was the best electric car you could buy for a few years there. And then the Tesla Model 3 came out and it was just completely irrelevant. Yeah. A year ago, if my mother had come up to me and said, Charlie, I want an electric vehicle, I would have pointed her toward a Mach-E. Now I'd probably do an EV6. She'd still probably buy the Mustang because she wants a Ford. Yeah. But I'd tell her that the EV6,
I did that with my uncle.
Oh?
And he bought it. He has a Mach-E. He has one in California. I think he likes it. I haven't checked in with him on
how he likes it.
I should
call him right now.
Ask him how he likes it.
No, I'm not going to have you call him right now, but I would be curious if you reported back.
He's got the rear wheel drive extended range California edition.
Is he the same one who has a Cayenne?
No,
different. Okay.
Different uncle.
Does he have any other cars outside of the Mach-E?
Nope, it's his only car.
Wow.
He's a dentist.
Very cool. Fair enough. You should upgrade to the Performance or the GT.
Yeah, well, he came from a Maserati Levante.
Wow. And went into a Mach. But that was all, they didn't have the GT back then. So
No, I don't think you get the GT yet.
No.
But yeah, he was tired of spending. He lives in California, so I mean, he was tired of spending money to fill up his Levante all the time.
And he picked a perfect time to do it because gas spiked right after he got his Mach-E, so he's in good
feel
shape.
Bad for whoever's driving his old Levante now.
Well, you feel bad for whatever Surface advisor is currently trying to diagnose
what's
the
wrong with
Levante
it
right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know that he ever had any problems with it. He didn't own it very long. He owned it for like a year and a half or 2 years. I think it was fine. I mean, it was like new.
Right.
He bought it like CPO'd.
Could also feel bad for whatever fire department's trying to put out the fire of the Levante that is on fire.
Yeah.
The other thing we didn't mention, the steering was remarkably heavy on that Mach-E. Yeah, it sounds like you noticed what. Yeah. Unless you're in whisper mode.
But then you have eye floaters on your cluster.
Yeah. Did you notice that too?
Yeah.
It's just like so when you're in whisper mode, the calmest of the dry modes in the Mach-E, it has this like drapery flutter animation on the instrument cluster, and it's just mildly distracting because the human eye, like when it's in something's in your peripheral, picks up on movement.
You know, like when you have do you get floaters, eye floaters?
Yeah. It's a similar sort of thing.
What it reminded me of.
It's not the only vehicle that does that. There's another, the Lincolns. The Lincolns have a stupid they have like these little fireflies that like float around the gauge cluster.
Or they try so hard.
That's the thing. Ford tries to do stupid bullshit instead of just building a good car. And that's why everyone likes the Maverick, is because they ditched stupid bullshit and just made a good car.
Made a car.
Yeah, what a fucking concept.
They're like, we didn't put any special gimmicks in this car. We shall only make 7 of them and we'll sell them all and that'll be it. And then they have like 1 million people trying to order them.
Right. Same with the Bronco Sport. Like it's just like a good, solid gimmick-free car that looks good and drives well and is affordable.
Speaking of that, would you like to guess how many new cars Buttman has on the lot currently?
9.
2.
Wow.
2. Would you like to guess what they are?
Both EcoSports.
One of them's an EcoSport. You're 50% right.
Bronco Sport then.
No. Edge.
They sold both of those expensive Broncos?
Yep.
They have an Edge and an EcoSport.
An Edge and an EcoSport.
They probably don't want us to go film the EcoSport if it's one of their 2 new cars they can
No, but
sell.
they've got a couple EcoSports on the used lot we could film.
Okay, good.
With black plastic wheel covers that have been added.
Yeah.
Yes. Love those.
So I would struggle. I think I would barely put Mach E in good car category right now. Mostly as the lineup as a whole. I'd have an even harder time putting Mach E GT as a good car.
Last year it would have been a good car.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I'd have to think is what other performance electric vehicles are there right now?
The Volvo thing.
It's not a performance car. It's fast, but it's not a performance car. There's the Tesla Model Y Performance.
There's going to be an EV6 GT, isn't there?
Yes.
And an Ioniq 5N. Like these are all
When those come
cars.
out,
There is a Genesis GV60 really fast thing with
right,
like
but it's not a
500
performance
horsepower.
car. It's not a
But
performance
it's like
car.
a performance one.
It means nothing if you can just go fast if your brakes are going to burn up within a lap of tracking. Because the Mach E GT performance, to give it credit, it has a track mode.
Right.
You can take it out on track. It's got
get
big
it
ass.
to activate itself.
I couldn't either. I actually pulled over in my winding road video.
We did it
and stopped and restarted the car, and it wouldn't go into.
We did it in California. I didn't know how I think they bypassed it or something.
Does it
Just
detect when you're on a track? Is that what it is?
No, because we just did autocross with it in Unbridled Extend.
Yeah,
It's
Unbridled
like
Extend. That's
mode.
what it is.
Yeah.
Right. So I tried to put it into track mode too, and it would not let me.
There's that. There's all the Teslas, the Plaid, the Model 3 and Y and X performance.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else from the domestics right now? Blandis doesn't have anything. Chevy doesn't have any.
I have to wait 3 more years to get the airflow. 2 more years.
Yeah, so I think Mach E GT gets good car status for now, but
on the border.
All it's going to take is another decent performance electric car.
When the Ioniq 5N comes out, everything else will be irrelevant.
I'm sure we're missing. Oh, well, there's the luxury performance cars, the Taycan Turbo S and the
RS e-tron
GT. Which, yeah, if your pockets are deep and you want an electric performance car, skip the Mustang, go for the Audi. That was very good. Yeah,
you could drift it too.
Can. Yep.
Did you try drifting the Mach E? It won't really let you.
Yeah, it was like it sort of did, but it was sloppy. It was all over the place. It was. It's just you're trying to drift a 5,000 pound car and didn't
They're
go
so
on.
bouncy when you try and drift big SUVs like that.
Right.
I'll never forget when you took me out in the Durango Hellcat and you sent it around a corner and it just
hopped.
It just hopped the whole corner.
It was terrifying and sounded awful.
Yeah.
Before we do the Copart segment,
I don't know if I have any cars for you.
It's okay because I figured we could see if there are any convertible Copart cars in our region that we could use to replace the Porsche. Okay. Speaking of that, this past weekend I watched the Top Gear episode where they go to Albania with.
That's a good one with the California, the Gallardo, and the Aston DBS.
No.
Albania is
Mafia.
the Rolls-Royce Ghost, the S65 AMG, and the Bentley.
Yes, and for any of you who haven't seen it, Bentley was going to provide a Mulsanne until the very last minute, and then they pulled out. And I kind of appreciated that because as someone who's scheduled press cars for the last 6 years, I definitely know that like manufacturers can get cold feet or whatever for whatever reason, a car could not show up.
Send their Mulsanne to Albania.
To Albania, and it's understandable why, given seeing what they did, but. What Top Gear did is they replaced it with some shitty old Yugo and kept referring to it as the Bentley.
Yeah.
So if we cannot get a 911, we need to take one of our shit cars and call it a 911 throughout the entire test and compare it against the LC as though it were still the 911 and be like, yeah, I can't quite see why someone would purchase a 911.
Should take the Escape.
There you go. Just
or the van.
Right.
Oh
yes.
My gosh.
Sleep in the van. So anyway, let's see what we got. Let's go Vehicle Finder. We're going to go...
Nissan Murano Cross Cabriolet or PT Cruiser.
I always find it interesting that Copart defaults to 2012 for the year because you'd think people are going to be looking for much shittier old cars.
It's like dealers that don't want to sell anything older than a 2012, people that are in the business of fixing and flipping.
Not just thinking they're cool.
Not us trying to find Chrysler TCs by Maserati.
All right, let's do this. Search. Plenty of cars.
1968. You went back pretty far.
We want run and drive.
No license required.
No license required, and
Try and get a LeBaron. I saw one on Facebook Marketplace the other day for like $2,000.
There is one that's listed as converti. Is that all? Nope.
Converti.
It's our one convertible. Ooh, a 2006 BMW.
Oh God, I saw that car
325 Ci. What's wrong with it? That's actually kind of cool. It's probably an automatic.
It didn't pull up on the TV.
Oh shoot, that's right. I'm sorry. It always goes to. Here you go, Chris.
Dents and scratches. That always worries me because why is it at Copart?
Yeah. 130,000 miles. The interior, the rear seats look good.
It's got ZHP wheels. 06. That is the last year of the E46 convertible. Oh, here's the LeBaron. Oh, it's sold. What a shame. Look how nice this was. For $2,500.
That is nice.
Really nice car.
Mm-hmm. Aftermarket head unit, so that's not promising. It's an automatic, also not great. Buy it now for $6,100. Would you Copart buy a?
You could literally get like a really nice one for $6,000, and that's at Copart. So
yeah, you're gonna have to pay fees on top of that too. Well, it ends tomorrow morning, and the bid's at $1,200.
Yeah, but the seller reserve is probably $6,000 even. They're never gonna sell that thing.
So we don't have any other convertibles, unfortunately.
And even more unfortunate, I don't have anything saved for the Copart segment.
Oh, well, that's probably okay, because I think we've already been going for over an hour, so I'm sure no one's listening anymore at this point, except for Will Long and Moran. Yep. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Next week will actually be interesting, though, because this week we're heading out to the Midwest Auto Media Association event, where we will drive a lot of cars, and a lot of cool cars, including F-150 Lightning,
Genesis GV60,
Bolt EUV,
Silverado ZR2.
I wish I had more cars off the top of my head.
Expedition Timberline, Expedition non-Timberline,
Subaru Solterra,
Subaru Forester Wilderness,
yeah,
Subaru WRX,
yes, maybe another Nissan Z. There'll be a lot of cool cars, and we'll report back on all of them because we're going to drive a bunch on track.
You forgot the best one. Mitsubishi Outlander Rebel Rally.
Yeah, let me show you guys what we're dealing with here. Ah, mouse.
Drop the mouse.
My lap isn't the best place for the mouse to go.
So when I was picturing this in my head, I was picturing kind of like a Timberline, you know?
Yeah.
All-terrain tires, different bumpers.
Can't remember what the exact Rebel Rally.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, I can't. So apparently we're driving a rally version of the Mitsubishi Outlander, but it's like, I don't know how actually beefed up it is, or if it's just graphics.
But I don't know.
It says it goes off-road.
Yeah, but
that's pretty vague. Oh, but the super all-wheel control in the Outlander has 6 driving modes that maximize driver confidence. Yes. Oh, the photos are loading.
It's a paint scheme to honor somebody.
Outlander's special paint scheme will honor Jutta Kleinschmidt, who made history 20 years ago in the Dakar Rally. Kleinschmidt drove a Mitsubishi Pero to victory in 2001, becoming the only woman ever to win the world-famous Dakar, and she's also a dog.
The first bitch to win. There it is.
That is.
Yeah. So they're going to have that there.
The cool thing is the paint scheme kind of makes it look like a two-door in a way, but it isn't.
Do you appreciate the fact that this isn't actually the car? Like, it's very clearly photoshopped on there.
Yeah, you're right.
They took a stock photo for their own website. They're like, do you have a photo of the car? No.
I am very curious to see what it's... Did you happen to look at the window sticker?
No, but we should pull it up.
I don't think you can you pull it up on your phone? Because I'm not going to be able to... Oh, wait, I can just...
Yeah, no, I can...
Yeah, I don't want everyone to see all my private emails as I pull up the window sticker.
Okay, Hillary Clinton.
Well, you know what? I don't have the legal team that she does. Next week, outside of all these special cars, we're driving the Cadillac CT5V Blackwing with the 6-speed manual. That's going to be awesome. We're going to have it on track. We're also driving a Veloster NDCT on track, so that's going to be cool.
Most complete. Oh, did you do your Road America waiver yet?
Not yet.
I just came in.
Yep. And we'll have the Topher's BRZ on track, so that'll be cool. And then we will have... What did I get us next week? Can't remember. Volvo XC60.
Oh, yeah, I'll be going. Where's the damn...
And Chris is going to be driving many other cars. He's going to be driving the new Toyota Sequoia, which will be cool.
Struggling so hard.
Is it our excellent internet provided by 1-800
Hanson's? I can't find
Hanson's?
the email anymore. Oh, here it is.
And you have to scroll like way
Vehicle
down.
Monroney's.
Okay.
Being a boomer.
Yeah, that's okay.
Bishi.
We're having just ate a sandwich recently. I am hungry again.
I am so hungry. One of them's silver and one's gray. What's the difference?
Well, maybe they started that way and then they put the
stickers on it.
Put the stickers on. Jeremy, if you're listening, I'm sorry that we're making fun of Mitsubishi.
Would you like to know one of the additional equipments listed on the window sticker?
Full tank of fuel.
That's right.
Yep.
Classic
Tonneau
Mitsubishi cover
for the back covering the cargo.
Welcome package. Would you like to know what's included in the welcome package?
First aid kit?
No. Carpeted floor mats and portfolio. Touch-up paint pen.
Oh.
And center console tray mat.
Because they know that people with Mitsubishis are going to ding elements of it and we'll need to touch it up.
Yes. Hey, none of these have anything about a Rebel Rally.
So they must have just taken one.
No, it's just an Outlander with stickers. That's all it is. And they're running it off-road. That is a tough off-road section. They're going to destroy that car.
6 different drive modes.
That Outlander is going to get destroyed on that off-road course.
Well, we'll tune in next week to find out who and how we destroy the out. Also, it's going to be raining all day.
That car is not going to make it through there. They're going to have to put different tires on it or something.
Or more stickers.
Yeah, right.
So thank you all for tuning in to episode Taylor Swift of the Daily Motor Podcast. We'll be back next week to discuss all of the other cars that we've driven and the bitch edition of the Outlander. Drive safe and drive on, everyone.